So we have another gift here from the gift that keeps on giving. It's something that Claressa Shields said, the quote. If you're an idiot, you call her that. Claressa Shields on Savannah Marshall. I won't affect a Detroit accent much or whatever, Michigan accent, much as I would like to affect her annoying accent. I won't attempt it. Marshall's a bitch. That's it. She's a bitch. She's a hater. She wishes she was me. She wishes she had all the belts, or she wishes she had the belts, the gold medals, and she don't. Marshall just wanna be me. It's hard to read this without affecting your accent, actually. Marshall just wanna be me. She wishes, and this is the key, I'm not even gonna mock this because it's disgraceful, this comment. She wishes she was black and everything. It's just sad. Look, Claressa Shields comes out with some pretty outrageous stuff, thinking she should be paid as much as Canelo or whatever. No, you're paid based on your popularity and the level of competition you face and all the rest of it. So you're paid a percentage of what you bring in. And she's so deluded, she even thought she was fighting at Wembley. I didn't mention this in my prediction video, my preview of the pre-fight press conference. But she said, I'm going to be fighting in front of 90,000. And Savannah immediately like, what? We're not at Wembley, you daft bitch, or whatever she said. Because I believe it's at the O2. So, I don't know, 5,000 maybe? Well, I don't really know. But it's not Wembley, it's not 90,000. We're not doing a Carl Froch here or a Tyson Fury. So she doesn't even know the audience. How could she possibly have a grasp of the financials, I just commentate on these things, give my opinions, And I know it's not 90,000, and yet she's actually going to be fighting. But this comment about she wishes she had all the belts, she wishes this, that, and the other, she probably does. We know that Savannah Marshall didn't quite... She choked, to put it, I suppose, bluntly, when it came to the really big Olympic fights. And she didn't show her true potential and her true skill set. But of course then she had... much younger, and she didn't have Peter Fury in her corner. And if there's one guy that's, been right into the lion's den and got his fighter through it with an amazing win, it's Peter Fury. And, wouldn't you want to go into a fight with someone like that having your back? I know I would. If it's a fight on the street, if it's a fight in a boxing ring, Peter Fury just oozes cool calmness and, strength. But this comment on him, so maybe Savannah wishes that she had done better as an amateur, although she did do exceptionally well, but not at the Olympics. But it smacks of insecurity, doesn't it? When you're coming out with comments like, oh, she wishes she was me, she wishes she was this, that, and the other, it basically means that Claressa herself is insecure, because the best form of defence is attack, and she's just going after Savannah, because in reality, even she clearly, is not very high on the IQ scale, but she must know that in the skill and in the power department, she doesn't have a lot. All she has is athleticism that she's got via genetics. And she seems to spend most of her mental energy, rather than on improving, just arguing and insulting random people on Twitter. But this comment, she wishes she was black. What a dumb thing to say. I'm white. I don't wish I was black. Okay, I tutor a lot of school kids that are Somalian. They're not going to say they wish they were white. They're comfortable as they are. If you're trying to make aspersions, oh, you wish you were white, or you wish you were black, or you wish you were Asian, or whatever, it just means you're an insecure person. Because ultimately what you say to others is very often what you feel yourself. You're feeling this insecurity and you're spreading it around you. And apart from the fact it's overtly racist, and could you imagine if Savannah Marshall had come out with, Claressa just wishes she was white like me? Imagine the furor that would come from that. She'd get cancelled, wouldn't she? Let's be honest. And let this quote, in inverted commas, which you can't see, and make them with fingers, she can get away with this stuff. How? Because of the privilege that she has being a woman, and being black, it seems, that's okay to make racist comments. Very much like Wilder did before the Fury fight, trying to make it some ridiculous racial battle. No, it's a boxing match between two skilled athletes, but unfortunately for Wilder, one far more skilled, which obviously Wilder would have known. Had he fought anyone before Fury, he'd have known that he didn't have the skills, and he may have had a different approach, knowing it's a knockout or nothing. But of course, cherry-picked him when he was large, so I suppose that deluded him into thinking that he could compete with Fury. But it's just an outrageous racial agenda. But of course, in the current system, with the mainstream media, this will get no attention whatsoever. No one's going to say, why on earth are you making a boxing fight about race? What on earth are you doing? Are you mad? It's a fight between two top athletes, and it's one we're looking forward to. And now you've made it into some battle. I suppose in her case, you could say that America is a lot more racially divided than the UK. You know, we've both had civil wars, but our one wasn't about slavery. In the 1640s, it was a little bit more British. It was all to do with Parliament against the King and the rights of the King and the rights of Parliament. In America, we don't have the disgraceful history of black people being oppressed. I know that. But in this modern day and age, 2022, do we really need this kind of racial nonsense? No. And, you know, I don't know if she's deleted that tweet. I was flicking back through and I couldn't see it. It was relayed by the journalist Benson. It actually probably wasn't a tweet now I think about it. It was probably an interview, so that's probably why I couldn't find it, because I saw the tweet from the journalist, but actually it probably wasn't a tweet of hers, so that would explain that. But, yeah, let's cut all that stuff out, you know, all of that. We had that with Wilder, and sadly both of them appear to be equally pea-brained. Talking about Black History Month, I'm going to make you a meme for Black History Month when I knock you out, Fury. And what did Fury say? He said, no, it's a boxing match between two big men with gloves on. Because we don't do that rubbish over here, yeah? We just don't go into that. It's, you know, a lot of our best athletes are black, and, you know, they're British, and, you know, I get behind them. I get behind all our great footballers, most of whom are black. It's not a big issue here, but and maybe she doesn't get that because, you know, I suppose she's just grown up in her own little hood, you know. I don't know. It just smacks of very small-minded ignorance. But as for Savannah Marshall and what she might think, I'd be interested to see an interview with her if she does one. I imagine she's deep into training for this, so rather than expending her energies on interviews and tweets and all the stuff that Claressa Shields does, I imagine Savannah Marshall is just concentrating on knocking out Shields, which I'm sure is what's going to happen. And, you know, I guess it adds to the spice of the occasion, but it's unnecessary in this day and age to come out with that rubbish, you know. If I look at a bunch of people and chat to them, you know, the ones I'm going to be drawn to are the ones that are like-minded and, you know, charismatic to me, and we get on. I don't give a damn what they look like or what they talk like or whatever. You know, it's just ridiculous. And it's sad that this Shields lady is just so backward that she's coming out with racist tweets about Savannah Marshall. And yet, when they're actually there, I've seen interviews with them in the past, and they've been cordial with one another, they've been friendly enough, and so I know you have to try and sell the fight and everything, but that's taking it too far, coming out with stuff like this. That's just my thoughts. Can't wait for the fight itself. Still a little way to go, but it's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it, and ultimately, you know, the boxing ring is the truth serum. We will see when they're there. Does one want to be the other, or in reality, is Savannah Marshall going to show that she's far more technically gifted than Shields? I believe so, but hey, we'll wait and see.